Well, hello and welcome to a new video. Today I'm doing a tag regarding all of my bronzers. So basically I created 10 categories of bronzers. Within each category I assigned one bronzer in particular in my collection, and you are of course welcome to recreate this tag for yourself. Let's start with category number 1, which is the bronzer I have on today, and it is the Kosas Soft Bronze in the shade Light. This is by far my favorite luminous bronzer. You know I prefer a matte bronzer. This is one of the very few that I actually enjoy, even though it is luminous. It doesn't have glitter or anything like that. It's just, it gives you this soft radiance on your skin. It is so freaking pretty. Now I do have a couple of griefs with this product. The first one is the smell. I don't know what it smells like, but it smells like something old, and I don't know, I don't like the smell. And also I did get heartburn on this one, so I do have to scratch the surface of the product every now and then to make sure I still get the pigment. But it's just so yummy. You probably can't see much. Like, it's not going to be the most pigmented one, but in terms of the finish, it's juicy. That's it. That's juicy, and it's a powder, so it's really a beautiful bronzer. The category number 2 is the oldest bronzer in my collection. Now this is always a pain in the ass to try and figure out which bronzer I bought first within the ones I have on hand. If it's from the drugstore, I'm guessing it will have to be the Catrice or the Essence one, but I went through my profile on Sephora and I checked my purchases, and the oldest one there, and I believe it's the oldest I have here, is the Terra by Guerlain. I have the shade Deep, which arguably is too deep for me, that's for sure. I believe I bought this in the summer. I was definitely advised by a beauty advisor at Sephora. She's the one who directed me towards this bronzer in particular and gave me that shade. I'm not sure why. I mean, it works. If I'm tan, it definitely works. But generally speaking, I try not to use it when I'm this color because it's just a bit out there and definitely a bit orange. What I do is that I just swirl my brushes in all the shades, and you can see it's a bit orange, it's a bit dark. It's not crazy, all right? Like I said, I can make it work depending on what brush I use, but this is more of a summery tan bronzer. Category number 3 is, of course, the most recent bronzer I have in my collection. That was super easy because I did get it really recently, and I've been using pretty much only that ever since. This is the Milk bronzer. It's the matte bronzer in the shade Baked. This is a beautiful product. I don't know why I waited so long before I got this. So this is 13 euros, and I did get 25% discount. So that cost me close to nothing. It's a beautiful formula, it's a beautiful color, it's a beautiful finish on the skin as well. You can really blend it into the skin, and it gives you this very natural finish. It's matte, all right? It doesn't have any shimmer or anything, but because it's a cream product, it has this beautifully glowy finish without being glowy. It just looks like skin, you know? It's a beautiful bronzer. Definitely glad I got this. Category number 4 is the most expensive bronzer in my collection. Now I have a couple, the Chanel, the Marc Jacobs, that they get close to the 50 euro mark, but there is one that is actually more expensive than that, and it is, again, the Terra by Guerlain, and this one stands at 52 euros. Now, obviously, I just showed you a beautiful bronzer for 13 euros, so you don't need to spend more than 50 bucks to get a nice looking bronzer, that's for sure. So I wouldn't say it's worth it, but I'm glad I have it, and I think that if I didn't, I probably still would buy it, because as a beauty lover, the Terracotta is such an iconic bronzer that it's kind of nice to have it, you know what I mean, as a collector. And the scent, I mean, I wouldn't want to get the perfume, but that terracotta scent just, it smells like summer basically. On the other end of that spectrum, number 5, we have the bronzer that is the least expensive, the most affordable bronzer in my collection. Now there's two, depending on what you take into account, all right? So the first one I have, and that is the one that is actually the cheapest if you simply look at the price tag, it's the Catrice Sun Glow, and it is €3.10 on a website called Notino. So if you want to spend as little money as possible to get a bronzer, for barely €3, you get this. But this is 9.5 grams. Whereas this Essence bronzer is €3.60, so barely 50 cents more expensive, and it has 15 grams. So if you're looking for the best deal, really, that's the one, because it's a teeny tiny bit more expensive, but you get a lot more product in this one. So again, if you want a nice bronzer, you can get these. You don't have to spend 50 bucks. Category number 6 is the largest bronzer in my collection. Now, there's two of them, again, depending on what your standpoint is. The biggest in terms of packaging is this Marc Jacobs. Now, this is not the famous one. That's the white packaging that everyone has. It's the same formula. It's still the Omega Bronze. It's just the shade that's different. So I have the 102 Tantric. I don't know how much it differs from the white one that everyone has and loves, but yeah, it's a Marc Jacobs bronzer. It's huge. It is also big in quantity because you have 25 grams, so it's definitely a bigger one, but the packaging in itself is like the size of my head. However, though, this is not the bronzer that I have with the most content in it. The one that has the most product is actually the Soleil Tan de Chanel. This is 30 grams of product in this bronzer. This is a beautiful product. I know that some people don't love it. I personally love it. I think it's a beautiful bronzer. I love how naturally it sets into the skin and how naturally it blends into the rest of the makeup and even onto naked skin. You know, I feel like it's something that I can be very generous with this product, and it's never gonna look orange, it's never gonna look splotchy. It's just a beautiful product. Again, kind of expensive. This is, I think, $49.90, something like that. So definitely out there in price, but I mean, you get a lot of product. Category number 7, you guessed it, the smallest bronzer in my collection. Now, in terms of size, this milk one is pretty small, but if you look at how much product there is in the bronzer, and I might be cheating a little bit here, it's actually a duo. It's the Bronze and Glow Duo by Natasha Denona. This is the mini version, and in here I have 2 grams of bronzer. So I have other mini bronzers with a little bit more than 2 grams. So this is definitely the smallest quantity. I can't say it's my favorite bronzer. It reads a little bit too red for me, but I mean, it's a nice product to have. Category number 8 is the bronzer I have several shades of. I loved it so much, I went back and bought different shades, and it is the Fenty Bronzer. So it's the Instant Warmth Bronzer. I first have the shade In the Sun in the large size, and there's definitely a hole in that pan. Like I've used this a ton. This is more of a cool toned bronzer, as you might be able to tell here. And then I have a mini version, and there's 2.8 grams of product in here, and it's the Shady Biz, which is more of a warm bronzer. So both of these are not too far apart when it comes to the depth of the shade. I can definitely wear them at the same time. You know, there's not one that's a lot darker than the other. It's more about the undertone, where this one is a bit more cool and this one is a bit more warm. I do love the formula of these. You can build these very nicely, very naturally. They're definitely not going to be the most pigmented, but that's what I prefer my bronzers to be, because I don't like it when I go in with my brush and it's like, uh-oh, I messed up. So I like the fact that it's a buildable formula that you definitely have to go back a couple of times to really start to see it warm your face. But I do believe it's a beautiful, beautiful formula. It's so nice, so soft. It's not too powdery. You can build it up and not have it be, you know, a bit too powdery on your skin. It's just a beautiful, beautiful formula. Love it so much. I have 2 of these, so that should tell you something. Category number 9 is the bronzer I have used the most, and I don't think I've ever seen such a big pan in a product before, and it is the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula. Look at this. I mean, come on. It's actually a bit annoying because it crumbles, and I have another one. I have a backup that I should use and just throw this one out because it's getting on my nerves. Every time I use it, I have pieces everywhere. Anyway, I love this bronzer. It smells like vacation. I just love the smell. I love the effect on the skin. It's a powder. It's matte, but it doesn't look like a powder, and it doesn't look like it's something that's flat either. I don't know how to describe it to you, but it's a beautiful, beautiful product. I hate the packaging, I must say. It's a bit bulky, like when you compare it to another bronzer. I don't like the packaging, and I especially don't like the fact that it's so bulky, just so that you can have on the bottom here this thing, which is not even, it's not even a brush. It's a weird sponge thing. Like, I don't like the packaging, but the product is amazing. And for a while there, it was the only bronzer I was using. When I was working as a teacher, I was waking early in the morning, so that was the one that I knew I could go like this very quickly, and it always looked nice. So definitely a must-have. And at number 10, the final category is the bronzer that I feel like we don't talk about enough. It's definitely a product that's underhyped, in my opinion. I feel like most of the ones I presented to you, like the Butter Bronzer, it's a classic, it's a cult favorite. The Fenty Beauty has been reviewed a bunch of times. I mean, it's Fenty, so it helps. The Marc Jacobs, the Chanel, the Terra, of course, the Kosas, the Milk, they're all very known and loved bronzers. And I feel like this one, I don't hear enough people talking about it. I don't see it in enough collection videos of other makeup YouTubers. I feel like this is one of my favorites, and it is the Bronzer Duo by Jouer. I have mine in the shade light to medium, and it is perfect. I don't know if you can tell, but there's not that much difference between the 2 bronzers, but the difference is there enough so that it's worth it to have that duo. It's just perfect for me and my skin tone. It's not too warm, it's not too cold, it's perfect. I love the texture as well. It's also one of these more buildable bronzers. You can see like the color is very natural, so it's not going to be like a big out there bronzer, but you can build it up and have it be a bit more pigmented, but it's just so beautiful. It's beautiful on the skin. It's one of my most used because it's one that whenever I don't know what bronzer to use and I'm like, I just want something that can be done quickly and that I know I'm not gonna mess up, that's the one I go for. It's just an amazing product, and I feel like it doesn't have the status of cult favorite yet, and it should. And that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to my channel because it's free, so why wouldn't you? And I will see you guys next time. Bye.